now. Okay, who is next? Jeanne.
All right, let me just pick my stuff, my violin and my bow.
Cool. And just remind us the piece that you're playing and what kind of things that you're working on this that you want us to look out for.
Okay, so this is actually a piece I already played, but I came back on it just for studio class. Hunter's Chorus from Suzuki Book Number One, if I remember. What I want people, well, I have a hard time with the Sukin three group. You'll find it very obvious when I'll get to that part. Three group notes. So that there's this part that's a bit harder that I'm trying to work on to get it better. But otherwise, the rest of the piece is relatively okay. Um, yeah, and I think that yeah, that's what I would pinpoint. The hard part is the three notes I'm gonna play that you're gonna hear immediately. All right.
All right, same thing. Can you do like a quick sound check? Can you play something maybe soft and loud, and we'll just make sure that the mic is working?
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, it's doing the same thing. It's like we can hear you, but it comes in and out. I don't know if anyone knows any solutions for that, or we'll just kind of keep rolling. We can hear you. It's fine. Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
Oh,
Bravo. All right, how'd that go for you?
Well, like I expected, pretty much the whole piece is okay. It's just that TDT. Like I could do it before, and when I tried replaying it, I'd have to work even more on it. But apart from that section, I think it went pretty okay. I don't know if my rhythm was constant the whole time though.
Yeah, so that is a great note. So this is a good moment. So let me just share the screen. We're gonna watch. I just want everyone to have the score for this too. So, first of all, it sounded way better than last time I've heard it. So, like your bow is looking really straight. You've got a lot more control on those 16th notes. So, really great work. Like it's really cool to see you guys go back to these older pieces, especially if I haven't heard it, because I'm like, wow, it's working. Okay, so what happened? And I wonder actually before I answer, we should have had you play this with the score, but has anyone played this before?
yes.
Yes. Okay. Lucy, have you?
Yeah, I have.
Okay. Can either of you guys tell what happened around here, if you remember?
Is it rhythmic? Because I have my copy of the book here, but it,
Yeah.
I don't know what happened there, but later on, I think the 16th notes were played as eighth notes instead of 16th
Yeah,
notes.
you got half of it. Lucy, what about you?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, so I think you're right on, Angie. So essentially, what happened, Jen, is when you got from here to here, you actually went double time.
Oh,
And
okay.
then what you were hearing, Angie, is that then you went back to the written rhythm. So that's good news because it means that you actually have to play this half the speed, da dum bum ba dum bum ba dum, which I think you'll be able to do no
Yeah.
problem at
Well, now
all.
that you mention it, I think I had that problem last time and you corrected me and I just repeated my mistake this time.
I can't remember exactly what it was, but I think it came earlier. Like last time you started it here, like dum ba dum instead dum ba ba bum, and maybe here it was just like a little bit later. So that's why it felt really fast there. But I wanted to kind of open it up. Let's say that you did have to play it fast like that, because I think you have the ability to do that. You're just maybe missing a couple of practice strategies. Does anyone have any ideas of how Jean or anyone can work on getting this kind of thing? Like a repetitive passage that's got a slur that goes really quickly. Because I think it'd be cool to just be able to do that anyways, even though you won't have to do that fast for the piece. Does anyone have any suggestions or ideas?
Um, this is gonna sound very like trivial or like common sense, but like I think that when you got to that point, I saw that you were very like tight because you were very focused on like I think your fingers. So if you cannot move the bow more like relaxed, it's gonna be more difficult, I think, because I find it happens to me. So sometimes when I do stuff like that, I start to get very tense, even like my body and like everything, and then it's even worse. So what I do is I completely stop and I force myself to be relaxed, even if I just do one, but very relaxed. And the moment I get tense again, I stop completely again and I go back. Even if you just do three, but like very relaxed is gonna help you a lot because you eventually will have less fear. Because when you go into it, you know, oh, I'm going, and you're already like this, which happens to me. So I know it sounds like, oh, relax, easy,
No.
but it's definitely an exercise that you have to do. I think.
No, and yeah, you're absolutely right because I did feel myself. Now that you mention it, I do tense up when that part comes up. So I think you're absolutely right.
That's a great point, Andres, especially the like when you know that there's a section that like when you articulate, oh, this section at the end, I might mess up. Then your body kind of is keeping tabs on you, and then before you go, like you almost like it's destroying the chance that you have, and it's human nature. Like I don't have a solution for that, unfortunately. But like when you know that you might mess something up and something, and I know you guys have all experienced this, then you start to tighten up, and then you're gonna mess it up. Like it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. But yeah, that's great, Andres. And sometimes that, like you said, it feels obvious, like to just relax. But sometimes the obvious solutions are like the most useful. Does anyone have like maybe a practice strategy of like if you were to try it this way, then it would help the tempo come up? Any ideas for that?
You could try playing it with like rhythms, like um I don't know how to describe it exactly, but it'll help get your fingers like used to playing it fast.
Yeah, that's a great idea, Lucy. Thank you. So, can you give us a couple examples of some rhythms that would work?
Like long, short, or short, long, short, long.
Yeah, for sure. So instead of playing da 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 dum, you go da dum bum ba dum bum or dum da dum bum ba dum. And what that does is that it makes it harder to actually coordinate, so that when you get back to the written rhythms, it's gonna feel really easy. So we can look at that in your class. But again, you don't have to do that because you're gonna get to play at half the speed. But it could be a good coordination exercise. Any other ideas?
I would
You can
say,
separate.
oh, sorry. I think I interrupted someone.
No, sorry. Okay, so yeah, maybe you can separate fingers and the bow. So just do your bow so you feel exactly how it's supposed to go, and then the fingers, and then you put it together.
That's
Might help.
great. Yeah, that's great. Also, Angie?
Oh, I don't know if this would help, but I would say place all your fingers, play one, and then stop, place all your fingers again, play another one. and then stop, and then play. So I'm stealing this from, these are Julia's techniques. That's all I know.
I made up
Or
0
and
of
then
these.
and then and then once you have that down, go back and do 2 without stopping in between, and then add another one on. And then
You mean
the
like
fourth
groups
one.
of 3, like did it, and then take your hand off. Did it, and then take your hand off.
Could we try? Could you try them?
So we're talking like that. Oh, wait. Yeah. And,
Not completely off, just like just stop the bow. Like don't take your fingers off. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's great. And then I think the logic there, what you were saying, Angie, is if you can do 1 clean, then you can get 2 clean, and then but like it's a lot easier to get just 1. And when you were playing it there, that was very clean, so you're able to do it. And it's just like almost a stamina thing. You want to try 2 just for fun? Great. Yeah. How does that feel?
yeah. I think with both Angie's and Andreas's advice, like the tricks they give, I think that's
Yeah, try the rhythms too. Just we'll move on after, but just try playing it long, short, da ba dum bum ba dum. Almost. So you'll have to with the rhythms, you want to keep the bowings. Lucy, would you mind demonstrating for us how that would work?
Okay.
Yeah, almost. So it would be it's 2 and I know you don't have the music in front of you. So it's a slur of 2. So da down up down up. Yes. Jean, you want to give that a try? Thank you, Lucy. Exactly. Yeah, so that I think all of those suggestions combined, like you're gonna be a machine on this. It's gonna work really well. And you can do the opposite rhythm, short, long, too. But yeah, great job, guys. That's I think that's really helpful. So thank you, Jen, for being our guinea pig with all that, and thank you for the suggestions.
my pleasure.
Who is next? Let's see. Jennifer.
Yay.
So what are you gonna play?
Oops, sorry. So I'll play Gavotte in the Suzuki book. Sorry. So I've been struggling with the same thing, the faster part of the piece, and yeah. Oh, sorry. Like my bow is going fast, but my fingers don't follow. Mm. Okay.
Woo!
Great work. That's such big progress for those of you that heard Jennifer play like a few months ago. Great job. So, how did that feel for you?
Um, yeah, the same thing. Like the really fast part, my fingers, I don't know, I cannot follow.
The thing is, they were following.
Mm.
Like,
Yeah.
right? You guys heard it, right? Like she had like the faces you made and the sound that was coming out, for me didn't match. Like you had it.
Because I'm thinking like I have to be fast, and then the intonation also
Yeah,
don't
intonation,
go.
I mean that will come too. There were maybe a couple spots where it started to get a little sharp, and I think that's what's bothering you probably the most. But as far as left right hand coordination, like I think you like it's fast. Like you have the tempo now. So,
Okay.
yeah, let's talk intonation a little bit because I know that's something that we all struggle with forever. What advice can anyone give for this type of passage if you find that, and if I'm not mistaken, it's like your intonation feels really solid, and as soon as things get to be a little bit harder, and it's usually at the end that it starts to go in a direction. Like you're not just messing up a random note here, or like there's kind of um a pattern. Am I is like is that did I summarize it right, Jennifer?
Sorry.
Did I summarize that right? Is that kind of how it feels
Yeah.
to you? And I know that you're not the only one that struggles with this, like, say, right? So who can, like, yeah, who has found that they have a similar thing that they're struggling with, and what solutions have you found or are working on?
I can go if no one. Okay. Yeah. So I feel like I have all the problems. So maybe I have solutions or yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I think that I remember. I don't know if Julia told me already somewhere, but I got the concept of the frame of your hand when you have it on the violin. And I actually think if you have it very good, like you're not lifting your fingers too much or anything, especially in the faster part. So having in mind that your frame has always to be there, and whenever one of those fingers seems to be too high or too low, comparing to other strings if you can, for me
Okay.
was like a change, right? That was like especially for my fourth fingers, that's how I was able to check all the time, is this right, is this wrong? And it helped me a lot to improve my intonation. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, and do you have any specific exercises that you found were helpful with that you've been doing?
Wolfhard. Yeah. For me, it's been like, it changed completely my intonation, I think. Because it just has these different etudes that you actually have to think, what is this etude about? And then you find out, oh, it's forcing me to all the time do this cross string thing that I always lose my intonation there. So that's how I really, really learned by just doing them, working on them slowly with time. But something very specific, I don't know. Like
Yeah, no, that's already helpful. And I know a lot of you guys are working on Wolfheart too. And it's just I found that with because I've been doing a lot this year with the Wolfheart, is that the first few are super slow and they take a really long time, and then you get to a certain one, and then you start to like just knock them out, and then you can kind of get through the rest of the book. But I found that like you have to kind of keep pushing, and then at a certain point it's just like, but I see it already with your playing, Jennifer, like that ease. I think that's Wolfheart. I mean, I don't know how much you feel like you're practicing them, but just like you can move so much more fluidly now with the left and right hand are so much more connected. Cool.
It's
Does anyone have any, sorry, were you gonna say something?
No, I'll just say that it's because of the piece like we were working on. The really fast one, like when you learn me to.
Yes, the Danse des Sylphes, the elf
Yeah.
dance. Andres, I think you've played that too.
yeah, I did.
Yeah, and that was a challenge piece, right? Like I think that was a lot harder than what this.
It is. Yeah.
piece. I mean, I don't know how
It's a
you
lot
feel
of
about it.
stamina. It's a lot like yeah.
Yeah, did you find that one harder or easier than the one that you're working on right now? Jennifer, like the elf dance.
It was harder.
Yeah, yeah, and sometimes I found, at least with my own playing, sometimes when you do something that's way too hard, it will actually, and I, yeah, or like just something that's like feels like a huge challenge. When you come back to stuff that's more where you're at, it feels a lot more manageable. I feel like maybe Angie can comment on that with what we spent the last like 4 months working on the Paganini.
Sorry, what were you
I was
commenting on? I
I
had
was just
an idea in my head that I was going to say, and I was just holding on to it.
Oh, I totally feel. I'll give you a chance for that. I was just saying like the power of doing something that feels like it's going to be way too hard and then coming back to something that's more like your level per se, and then it just like you're
Yeah.
like, "Oh wow, I'm better." Like am I touching a nerve there?
Yes.
But yeah, I'll let you if you have a comment.
Oh, I was just gonna say, because I'm struggling with this in my piece too, that I don't know if it's the same, but when I see a sharp, like a raised note or a high fourth finger, I automatically just like throw it up there and everything starts becoming sharp. I'm just like high four, high four. So I don't know if that might be a part of the issue, but I just slowly go through that part to make sure I'm not just going too sharp. So.
Okay.
Yeah, that's definitely. I think when we see sharps, it's definitely a thing that we just come up, and it depends on the keys too. I know that Angie, you're gonna play something in E major, which has a lot of sharps, and then like every violinist will just play that everything very sharp. So it's a lot of work to kind of bring it back down. But yeah, thank you guys all for your suggestions on that. I hope you had some takeaways, Jennifer, and thank you for playing. Cool. Okay, Miss Lucy. So this is a bit of a longer one, right?
Yeah, it's really
Okay.
long.
So what are you working on with this?
I'm playing the Concerto in A minor by Acolyte, and I think the double stops and the chords at the end is like what we've been focusing on. The end still sounds really bad, so yeah.
It doesn't sound really bad. So I just want to mention that Lucy might be playing this for a youth orchestra audition. We haven't decided exactly what it's going to be, but in the summer. So I want you guys to kind of pretend that you are adjudicators. No pressure, Lucy. But just like if you were judging a bunch of young performers, what kind of things would you be listening for? And that can maybe help Lucy get in the frame of mind of the audition panel too, so that she can prepare better. Yeah, same thing. Can you play something really soft and something really loud for us? Do people hear a little bit of glitching when it gets it overloads the gain, or no? It's all good. Yeah. Okay. Then if it's just me, that's fine. Cool. Let's hear it. Bravo, Lucy. That's come a long way since Thursday, even. Good for you.
Thanks.
Yeah, great ending, too. Really good ending. All right, how did it feel playing through that?
I was really nervous at first, but it got better throughout the piece, I guess.
Yeah, and how many times have you played through that completely now? Like, which run through are you on ish?
I'm not sure. I've done it several times before.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, this is still a pretty new piece, right? Like, when did we start this? January?
I think so.
Yeah, so you're like in your second month of it, just to give everyone context. So you learned that extremely quickly, I would say. Cool. So I would like for actually maybe if everyone could have a comment here. First of all, just on like the strengths, because there are many things that you're doing incredibly well on that. And I'd like for everyone to kind of like, oh, what stood out to you that's very strong in this performance? And then the second one is, yeah, just a constructive criticism. It can be either a quick thing like, oh, do this, you can fix it by tomorrow and it's done, or maybe something that's like, we have plenty of time for developing these things. And probably we're not even going to play this piece for your auditions. I think Lucy will be on to even harder things before that. But just like a general, maybe performance thing. Would those be helpful? Is there anything else that you'd like feedback on?
No, I think that's good.
Okay, cool. Anyone want to start?
Sure, why not?
Cool. Have you played this before, Angie?
I have, and I'm so sad we have to do this over Zoom because I love this piece, and it just the quality of sound just like Zoom ruins it. I'm sorry, but it still sounded good. I thought the intonation and the shifting was beautiful. I don't think I've ever heard it played quite that well. It was amazing. Like, job well done. I'm gonna let other people add.
Yeah, no, it's because this is for context for those that don't know this piece. This is a student concerto. It's one of the harder ones because there aren't many, but this is definitely one that combines a lot of things. So you often get students playing it, and so it's rare to get like a really nice and clean version of it. Do you have any constructive criticism too, Angie? Anything that Lucy can benefit from?
I was thinking as an audition piece. If you said afterwards it might not be, but I was going to say she should probably try to memorize it. Maybe I think that would help a lot. You can focus more on dynamics instead of focusing on the notes because she's got the notes down. You have the notes down. Those are perfect. And I had three things: memorization. The second one was more contrast between the different sections because they're all very different, and some of them it all kind of felt like a little bit too legato between the two different sections sometimes. I think there should be more contrast. I can't comment on dynamic because once again, Zoom is a nightmare. And the third thing was you seem to get stuck at the tip sometimes, especially with the long notes at the beginning. And I think there might be more bow needed. Like you get like the frog, you get stuck at the tip like quite a bit and the top half of the bow. So I don't know if that's part of the piece. I haven't played it in a while, but anyways, those are my comments.
That's excellent comments, Angie. Thank you. Those are actually all the things that I wrote down as well. Just kind of contrast because you have such a beautiful sound, Lucy, and it's very in tune. And you've got a great vibrato now too, and you have this kind of sound that you've worked so hard to develop. And now I just want like it's almost like you've perfected like a cake recipe, right? And like you've got this amazing cake and it's so good, and it's like it's so good that you like I want to see what else you can bake, like I want to chase your cookies, I want to try some icing, and like so I think next step is going to be developing those as well so that you can just have so much to offer. Yeah, thank you, Angie. Any other comments? And I know that this is a hard piece, and I don't think any of the rest of you guys have played this before, but I think you can still give some really valuable advice because you're not bogged down with the details of it. So impressions.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, technically it looked like very accurate, like everything that Julie and Angie said. So I think what Julie said, you have it all there, like all the technical intonation, everything sounds very good. The double stops look very nice to me, honestly, and that's when the major contrast came in the whole piece at the end. I was even like kind of moving along with it. So they were very awesome. And so I think that, as you said, the next thing you need to do is just try to portray more of your emotion in each part of it, especially if you're doing like audition for it, right? You know, like you're gonna look like you really want to like portray something. I think that's the only thing I miss. But again, through the phone, it's very hard to see that, like the dynamics and all that. I'm sure they were there. So maybe just work a little bit more on play with it, because you have the great foundation of the piece already. You can now just have fun with it, which is awesome. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Andres. How about Jen?
Okay, well, for me, well, since you're obviously such a better player than me, I can't really say like, oh, you should improve this, because from my perspective, it was literally perfect. And if I was a judge, I would take you absolutely. And I also wanted to point out that, because I was struggling with my 3 notes, but throughout the whole piece, a couple of times actually, you had many fast notes in a row, and I was seriously impressed. And I was like, wow, I have to get there. So actually, no criticism, but only praise from my part.
Thank you.
Jennifer, anything to add?
Yeah, I'll say the same thing as Jen. And like when you are crossing strings, it was very smooth and beautiful to hear. So yeah.
Thank you. Julia, do you have anything else to add? I know you're new to violin, but again, you've got a lot of musical experience, so it could be great to have your input.
I don't know about constructive feedback. I do just want to say, like, I learned Twinkle Twinkle at the time that you apparently learned this whole piece. So it just like that kind of blew me away. I really enjoyed listening to it. And I guess, yeah, like from I did play piano for a long time, so something I can take as feedback from that experience, just as a performance piece. I think what others said already about getting a little more of your emotion into it, and memorization might help. It always kind of helped me to know what it was I was playing, think less about that and more about how you're kind of like getting that piece of it into how you're playing it too. But that's I've enjoyed listening to all of you. But that was really quite a lovely performance to be able to listen to. So thanks.
Cool, thank you. First of all, is everyone good on time? Does anyone have to go? Because probably have another half hour or so for, yeah. Okay, perfect. Yeah, so I will jump off now, Lucy. So first thing, if I were a judge and I saw you flip the page like that, I'd be like, nah. So let's get this memorized. And I know this is a casual, thing, and I'm not trying to, like, as I know we all do that. But my teacher in college just like knocked that out of me, is whenever you have anything where you're not playing for someone, that like if it's someone new, that is a lot of teachers' pet peeves, and it almost like can be almost like a respect thing of like, oh, you didn't even take the time to and it's not on you. Like I've seen every one of you do that. I've done that for many years. So just if you're not memorizing it, make sure you have like the double stand, like just something where you can do it all, because it does take us out a little bit of the experience. But you'll have it memorized, so that won't be a problem. But overall, it's like seeing your progress from the last piece too. Like the musicality has evolved so much, that I just like can't wait to see what you do with like the next pieces that we do. So I just want to take one moment in this. There's a lot of things that I wrote down that will work in your lessons. The main one I think is what Angie said, being more in the bottom part of the bow. So you've got some sub-check in your future. But can we go to the high part? I'm gonna just share my screen so everyone can follow along. The one where it has the high, you know what I'm talking about. Da, 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 da. Because So it's right here. It's kind of right in the sandwich between all of this kind of crazy stuff going on. There's this really high harmonic. And for those that are new and haven't played a harmonic, Lucy, could you explain what a harmonic is and how we make it sound on the violin?
You just lightly touch your finger to the string, like you don't press down. And it's supposed to like ring nicely, but if you're off a little, it sounds really bad.
Exactly. So it's basically you can't play out of tune, which is nice because it doesn't function like anywhere else in the string. But if you miss it, it makes, I mean, can you show us what happens when you when you miss it? It like doesn't work. And can you show one like the one that works? Yes, exactly. So when we're playing a harmonic, what do we need to do with our bow to make it work?
Full bow?
Full bow can help. What about the bow speed?
Fast?
Not fast. We want to actually slow it down. You want to play into the string because the tendency is going to be when you've got a high harmonic, you're really light on the left hand. And so you want to do it light on the right hand too because your hands like to match. But actually you have to kind of fight that and do the opposite. You have to play into the string because you have to pretend that your right hand doesn't know you're playing a harmonic and it's just a long note. So can you show maybe, let's do both. Can you do a harmonic with a really fast bow and one where you really play into the string? Okay, yeah, and one into the string. Try it on an up bow, yeah, try it on an up bow and do almost like a crescendo. Slower bow at first and feel like your arm is really heavy. Yes, there we go. So that's what we want. So essentially you're catching it and then you're bringing it all to the end and then at the end you can kind of release it a bit. So, what I thought here is I heard a bit of a missed opportunity because you had everything, like it was in tune, you had the notes, everything, but then I just saw you're like, oh, there's the harmonic, and then you got a little nervous and you still got it, but I just wanted it to like explode there. So you have to just really trust yourself that you're gonna get it, that you've practiced it enough and that it's gonna work. And so it's really more a mental thing at this point than a fingers thing because your fingers have it. So can you just try da 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 dum and really like give me a fortissimo crescendo, like blow my socks off with that, just that measure.
Oh.
It's okay. It's okay. Ooh, that was good. That was good. Now keep that same energy you have on that harmonic with the previous the da 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 dum. Yeah, save some bow. You're running out at the end with the 16th note. So slow it down in the beginning so you have more juice. Yeah, that's better. And that's why we're going to work on the lower half stuff. Because if you were to start a little lower, you're going to have a bit of extra room to play there. Good. Now, can you do the run? And I know this is like the hardest part and I'm putting you on the spot. But can you try the measure before that? And can you do a big crescendo there? And whatever happens, I just want it to be loud. So if it's out of tune and it's a mess, that's fine. I just want it to be loud. Give it a try. Yeah. How did that feel for you?
Loud.
Loud. We don't get the volume. Good. And then let's do that one more time and let's add the next one. And this time I want you to do an accent, the da 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 da. And you have to like this is kind of a show-offy piece, right? Like it's not written for necessarily like there's some really beautiful moments, but this ending is just like look how fast I can play and oh now there's two notes at once. So it's really and the thing is like if you know Lucy, like she is not that kind of person. Like she's not she's not dramatic. She's like very, you know, poised and smart and well spoken and isn't someone that's yeah, very humble, I would say. Like you're not someone that likes to brag. But this music is kind of the opposite, and that's what's hard about it, but also cool is that you have to kind of act in a way. You have to pretend that you're this character, and that's something out of your personality. So I want you to imagine someone who's like someone in your life that's maybe has that kind of, or not even someone in your life, but just like a character. And if anyone has any ideas, I don't have one off the top of my head, that has like just like a really ease to them that can do stuff that's really hard and likes to brag. Like I wish I had an example. Does anyone have any suggestions here?
I feel like there's an athlete, but I don't know sports. Not a specific person I can point to, but there must be someone.
An athlete, that's a great idea. We can pretend that like what's a sport that's really kind of, yeah, that has this vibe to it, like and very energetic.
I came up with one actually. How about Simone Biles?
Yes. Do you know who that is?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So I want you to pretend that you're her as soon as you get into the da 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 da.
Do you want me to play all of that
No,
section?
no, I want you to do just that whole, let's do da 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 da, the measure before that, and then just 2 measures of the double stops. And give
Okay.
me that energy. And again, I don't care if it's in tune or not. I just want it to be big. Okay. Yeah, exactly. And now can you pretend with your face that like, because you're doing it. Just you look a little bit like you're almost surprised that you're doing it. Can you like with your face either just like keep it neutral or just be like, yeah, I'm doing it. Like, yeah. Enjoy it. That's it, Lucy. Yeah, everyone, like, wasn't that so much like it's nonchalance. That's the word. Like you're just. Does anyone have any comments on that? Because that was awesome, Lucy. Great job.
Yeah, that was so much better. You can maybe think that you are like, you have this like diva personality in the sense that you don't care what others may think or others will, because you're so good that even if you miss a note, you even hear them as like they were perfect because I'm perfect. And here it goes. Because with the technique you have, just go, then you're like, boom, I'm done, gone. Like everyone's gonna be like, wow, like she knows how to play and she knows it. And that's something that you can definitely portray as you play and give it to people, and they will believe it for sure.
Okay.
Well, round of applause for you, Lucy. Great job, great work on this. Angie, your turn.
I'm up already? Oh my God,
Yeah.
I thought there was another person.
No. Last one.
Okay. Oh, sorry, I wasn't ready.
It is quite all right. So you'll be playing part of it, right?
Sorry, the first 2 pages of the Bach partita number 3, which is news to me because I thought it was sonata number 3. Sorry,
Oh,
Bach.
it's a partita. Yeah, it's easy to get those mixed up. It's a solo Bach.
Oops. There we go. Hello, Bach, please. I wasn't able to warm up or anything, so we'll see.
It is all right. Can you give me? Do you want to do a quick like 2-second scale or something? And how about you do just like a?
see my
Yeah, can you bring it down a little bit? And can you just give us like a 1 octave E major scale just for the sound check, but also secretly so you can warm up? Okay, so that didn't work. I think, can you try again? I'm gonna go put myself on mute and hopefully that will, yeah, it was cutting out quite a bit.
Shoot.
Yep, that was definitely because I wasn't on mute. Perfect. Yeah, whenever you're ready.
So yeah, I'm trying to focus on relaxing my right arm and keeping my elbow down, my right elbow down. So we'll see how that works.
Sorry,
I
and
hope you
can you
can see
actually,
it.
is it, yeah, are you able to bring it down even more? If not, it's fine.
I don't know. Like, it's a bit precarious at the moment, and this is my only device that has a.
It's
like
totally
a-
fine. It's totally fine.
If I back up, is that better? Oh, that makes it worse.
Yeah, like if you can get
It-
closer. No, we can see. We can see what, yeah, that's perfect. Thank you.
Hopefully, I don't move. I'll finish it there.
Bravo. Great job, Angie. Sounding great. Who knows? Who has heard this piece before? Raise your hand.
Hopefully, no one.
It's a famous one. Cool. So, how'd that feel for you? How was your nerve slash tension level, first of all, and how did you think you did with your right hand?
I was so.
No, I tried to keep it relaxed, but I think it was relaxed. I'm not entirely sure.
I think so. I think this was one of your most relaxed ones that I've seen. If I don't know if the rest of you felt that way, but you felt really relaxed. Yeah, so is there any musical thing like specifically that you'd like some feedback on, or is it mostly physical? Or I guess everything is welcome, huh?
Yeah. What was that question?
That was a bad question.
I'll take any feedback.
Okay, cool. Who would like to start us off? Lucy, how about you? What did you think?
I don't really know what to say in terms of constructive criticism. It sounded perfect to me. So, yeah, it was really nice and relaxing.
Yeah, no, it is really hard, I think, to give feedback on something that is already feeling polished. So that's what I'm trying to push push you guys on. So let's think details. And again, it's hard that we can't have this in person and we can't listen to dynamics or really sound quality. But as far as details, is there anywhere that you felt that you wanted something different or that you wanted something more or that you saw that there was a place of tension?
No, it all sounded good to me.
And I know I'm putting you on the spot. Okay, thank you, Lucy. What about anyone else have anything to say on this one? Andres, maybe?
I mean, it was amazing, Angie. I haven't listened to you in a while, and I was like, "What? This just happened?" It sounds so good. Something I really, really liked, and it really got me. Like when you listen to something and you're like, "Oh, I love that sound." It's right at the beginning. Right off from the beginning, you really got me, and I was like, "Oh, there you go, Angie playing." It's always like this. Always gets me, and. The when you're like doing the crossing, especially the note that goes changing all the time, it was very soft. So I really, really like that. That for me was like the really specific detail that made it so special. And I think later on, as you were trying to do that kind of like going, I start to hear that it was losing it, and I guess it's because it's getting more complex. But that's something I think you did very good, very special, and I really like that. So it'd be great if you can keep it. Um, I don't know if you know what I mean, but and yes, I think that just at the later part, I don't know if because you haven't had time to work on that. After the crossing, then changing into a different type of bowing, it was starting to be more less even. But I mean, the first half, it was super smooth and really, really nice. And I even hear dynamics this time. So I was like, there's no excuse anymore, like to say that because yeah, I could hear all. It was amazing, and you did a very good job.
Yeah, Angie, does that kind of correlate with how you felt as far as comfort levels and like difficulty level throughout the piece?
Yeah, I need to work on the second page. It needs some help. I know what he's talking about though, that it kind of loses momentum, I think, in the if that's
That's a
what
great
Andre said.
word. Yeah, and I mean like these are strong words because everything is so subtle. Like overall it's already so good and so clean. I would say as far as tension goes, it's really like the da 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 da, da like that part where that's the only place I started to notice like it's not even the beginning, just like by the last one it started to get maybe a little bit more fatigued or something.
That's
But
a scary
otherwise,
part. That's a
yeah,
really
that
scary
very
part.
the scary part. And it's, I think, more a left hand thing than a right hand thing. Like, I think you're squeezing a little bit, especially like that weird fingering where you have to do like the one. Like, it's so awkward. So that would be a good place. Have you tried practicing it just left hand without right hand, like just silently?
No, but I will do that for
Yeah,
sure.
try that and just kind of get the shapes down, the chord shapes. And you want to be able to do that like in the most zen way, like super relaxed, da 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 da. Like, and the tricky thing with practicing just the left hand is that you can't really tune it, but that's kind of the point is that you want to make sure that it's relaxed because if you're thinking about tuning, you can't like how relaxed can you really be, right? So I would try that and then start to add the bow and just try to get that as like a little ecosystem of relaxation. You might have to go down in a few clicks with the tempo, and then it's more of a stamina thing from the beginning. But overall, yeah, I thought that you had some beautiful shapes. And again, like I can't get over how much more even your détaché is, like your décolleté, like compared to last time we did. Like that's really the biggest change. And I think that's the Paganini. Like, I think so, because you worked on it so much on that piece that when you come back to that, it feels so much more easy. Um, as far as like a quick fix, I think the beginning, um, you could do even more with the da-da-dum bum 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 because it's so famous that you hear the three notes and everyone's like and I saw it when I was watching, everyone's like, oh, it's this one, it's this one. It's the E major. So I'm wondering if you could actually grab the bow, like the string, a little bit more and yeah, like it's kind of the same thing as we were talking about with Lucy, just kind of giving us a little bit of like nonchalance and slash like confidence of like, it's this piece, it's fast, it's hard, I'm gonna nail it, but from the beginning. Do you want to try that? Just like the
Do
first,
that now.
yeah, just
There was an
yeah.
awkward silence.
I know. Just like once or twice, just to get that beginning, and to show it too. Like give us a bit more, da-da-dum, like a bit more in the breath. Like from before you even touch the string, you want to convey that energy. Hang on. Can you guys hear Angie? No, I can't hear you either. Yeah. Okay, well, can someone else talk to make sure it's not just her?
Hi.
Yeah, hello.
I think it's working. I think it's her sound.
It's just yours. No, you have been muted by the Zoom universe. Okay, well, I'm glad we were able to play. We'll stop there. Maybe we'll just try that on your own and we'll look at it if the sound comes back. I'm sorry, Angie, that sucks. Let's see. Like if I put you on. Oh, you can't hear us either. Okay. Okay, well, I think we'll keep on going, I guess, for a few minutes. We'll call it done at 30. Hang on, I'm just gonna write to Angie. See if we can get the sound working again. Okay, well, she's gone. Cool. So I think this was really, really good. I loved hearing your guys' feedback on each other's playing, and I think that's a really, 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 really important part of playing violin or like having any skill, being able to kind of diagnose things
Oh my God,
and
that was really
explain
freaking. I'm
something.
so sorry.
You're back. Okay,
I don't
it
know what
works now.
happened. Zoom like I don't know, it glitched or something. I'm so sorry.
It's totally fine. I think we're gonna move on to the just discussion because it's
Sounds
going
good.
long if that's okay, but we will look at that. But really, really, really good job, Angie. That sounded awesome. So I was just saying that I think it's great to see you guys have such good feedback, especially like when it lines up with what I had thought too. Because if you're able to do that, that's gonna make you a better player. Like you learn so much, especially like for me, kind of having both, because I'm still actively learning and practicing, but I get to practice teaching. I mean, well, through my teaching, because there's so many times when I'm practicing where I'm like, okay, what would I tell myself if I were me? And then I tell it to myself, and then I'm like, okay, let's do this properly. Because I have the same tendencies as everyone else. I think just sometimes like doing things too fast or not being careful about those things. So I think it's helpful not only to get the playing, but also to practice giving feedback is what I'm trying to say. So I wanted to quickly talk about, we won't do this too long because I think we discussed a lot already just during the playing, but I wanted to ask if anyone had any kind of breakthrough moments this last month or any struggles or anything that they've been working on or any solutions that they have come up with. That's like a very broad topic. I know every single one of you has had some sort of breakthrough moment, so maybe we can start there.
Well, can I start with the realization I had for studio class?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, it's just because I'm beginner, so obviously even if I try at my best level, I'm not like Lucy level or Angelique level, So like what I used to do for all the previous studio classes was try to get it the best I could possible and do like a performance. And this studio class, it was the first time that I was like, okay, I'll do something that I'm currently working on that it's not perfect, but I'll just do what I did and try it out. And I think it's more productive this way because even when I try my best, even if it's not the best that a violinist could do, it's still my best. So there's less to work on, but having something that isn't perfect and that I am working on, there's more feedback and I can relate and there's more suggestions, I think, that come out of it. So I think just in general, it's an approach that I'll be taking for studio class now. It's not to try to get it the best level possible, but to take something I'm working on to develop more technique, I guess, or something like that.
Yeah, that is also wonderful feedback for me because I also thought that today was a lot more productive in a way than it has been in the past, just because there wasn't as much pressure to like, oh, this is a finished thing. And I think it got us talking and it made things a little bit more casual in a way. And like, I think you guys were all less nervous, possibly, just with since that was out of the way of like, I mean, except for you, Lucy, who has like kind of that is like, oh, I'm working on this, like that's my disclaimer, and then you can kind of play mistakes and all and not have to worry about like, oh, this is I'm done, like, you know. Any thoughts on that? Did anyone else feel the same way? I really hate Zoom for these kind of things. Is it easy? Like, there's like a hand raise function. Is that easier? Yes, Andres.
Yeah, hand raise. I don't know, but yeah, no. Yeah, I don't know if it definitely feels less pressure when you do it like this, and just you do get. I think what I like about this is it to say to people, hey, this is what I am actually working on. This is what I would like you guys to look at. Right? Because there is so much that you can look at when you're playing, but you just because right now, for example, these past weeks, I'm really trying to go back to what I played before, and I just want to see what's the main difference. What have I improved? So I want to see in all these people reactions, like, oh, now you have better intonation or better whatever. So what I like about this today was that we could tell you in advance what we're working on, you know, even if it's not finished. So that's good. I think it's great. Yeah, it's a great format.
Cool. Yeah. And I mean, nothing's ever finished, right? Like, yeah, but I think also like there's only so many things you can really be working on. Like, you can be like, I'm working on having a straight bow. Like, everyone's working on having a straight bow. So, like, when you say, oh, I'm working on maybe improving my lower half, like, it's like, oh, I'm working on that too. And you can kind of share what has been working for you. And then it's not a level thing really as much as like, oh, this is, and you know, even if you've been playing for many years, the same rules apply. Like, you still have to be relaxed. And sometimes it's actually really good to hear from someone who's just learning that technique for the very first time, because that's very front of mind compared to if you've got a lot more techniques under your belt. You might, you know, there's just so much to think about that you need that remind. Because I mean, how many times do I tell you guys, oh, do that, but now relax, like all the time? But that's something that we learned from day one and that I have to tell myself all the time. So I think it's like it's not a like it's very level independent in a way, like the feedback. All that to say is don't be afraid to comment. Even you don't even need to say a disclaimer like, oh, I haven't been playing as long as you. Like, your feedback is still very valid, and it could also be very helpful too.
Yeah, how I think about it for feedback is that you can give feedback something that you have experience on, or you can get feedback as more someone that is just listening to without knowing what's going on. And you can say, this is how I feel when I listen to your music, or this is the part that I like the most, or whatever. Which I personally like to get that feedback, because like when I play, I always hope that people are enjoying in some way. So I like to know that as well. Yeah.
That's great, Andres. Yeah, because I mean, we talked so much about the actual technical things, but the end result is like, that's what we want. We want someone want to make music that someone likes to listen to. But yeah, this has gone really long. So I'm gonna just end with one thing that I think, Julia, you had found this really cool app, and I was wondering if you wouldn't mind sharing that, because I think it could be really useful.
Yeah, I've been really enjoying it. So it's called Andante. I'll go try to. The only thing I think I did discover it is only available on iPhone. Um, but I'll drop the link in the chat. And it basically it builds itself as like a practice journal. So in one interface, it has a light metronome. So I don't know if there's a sound setting, but if you can deal with the light thing, and then a tuner, and then also a record button, and then you can like write down notes from your practice sessions. So you just like hit start, and then it starts the timer on your practice session. So you can also keep track of like what your average practice session length is and stuff. But for me, the record function has been really useful because it's just right there. So you just like click on it, and then it's good. So let me grab that link. It has a nice interface and it's ad free. So and it is free actually. You can buy a like souped up version, but there's no ads without the souped up version, and it has all those functions without paying for it too. So I think if you pay for it, you can add multiple instruments. So if you like also play guitar, you can have a separate journal for that. But yeah.
Cool, thank you. Yeah, I love that it has all the tool, like especially the recording thing, because and I think it was you that was saying that you were recording yourself like last week or something, and then you were able to go back and be like, oh, I did get better at this thing.
My full bows. Been listening to the progress on that, and it's actually really helpful. It's also just like, I mean, the way that I think recording yourself in any kind of thing like this, you hear things that you don't hear when you're playing it, so that's helpful too. I like listening back immediately, but it's fun to go back like 6 days because I'm just starting out, so like 6 days ago sounded a lot worse, and actually hear that for yourself.
Cool. Well, thank you for sharing. So I think we'll stop there, guys, but I really liked this new format, and I'm gonna think about maybe, I mean, I'm gonna be asking you guys individually just for feedback, but like I feel like it's when we don't have the pressure of having like a finished result, it's something that we could possibly do a little bit more often. So yeah, I'll think like I know you guys are all like on Zoom all day, every day too. So like keeping that in mind, but maybe I'll throw out a questionnaire of like what would make sense or what would be useful. And I also like the smaller group. We're missing 2 regulars, like Sun Young and Olivia were both busy today. But I think I'll probably either do something closed or like like some sort of like you have to kind of commit to it just so that we don't get people that are just showing for one, which is totally fine, but it's like it's a lot easier, I think, when you have the same people and you can see the progress. So anyways, all great feedback, and I think we'll end there. So thank you so much for showing up and playing, first of all, and for giving feedback, because I think everyone got something valuable out of this session today, myself included. So have a great rest of your weekend. It looks like the sun is gone, unfortunately, here in Montreal, but yeah, go out and get some fresh air before curfew comes in, if for those of you that are in the area. All right. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.